Welcome to Season 2, Episode 6 of Comic Book Nation, the official podcast of Comicbook.com. I am your host, Kofi Outlaw, and today we're doing something a little bit different. We recorded a whole great top-of-the-line show for you guys, but...
Which you're still going to get.
Which you're still going to get. Hot Jump Gun Jim's telling you over there. But as we got done doing that show, we came out and we had one of the bigger reveals we've had all year, which is our first look at Robert Pattinson's Batman costume from Matt Reeves' The Batman, which was revealed in a new video. So we got done the show and we were just like, well, there goes that. And we decided what we're going to do is just make you guys a bigger, better show by coming in, filming a little segment to talk specifically about the Batman costume. And helping me with that today is Mr. Brandon Davis.
Hello.
And producer Jim Viscardi.
Hello.
And when we get done with this segment, we're going to throw you guys back over to the regular show we recorded with me, Matthew Aguilar, Connor Casey, and a special guest, which you will get the full regular Comic Book Nation experience from that. So be sure to stay tuned for both parts of this very special kind of episode.
He's the special guest. I like that.
Oh.
Yeah, got to sell the sizzle, right? Got to sell the sizzle. But our most special guest on this podcast, let's be honest, is the guy behind us right now, the Batman, Robert Pattinson. So we got this very kind of what the kids would call a hashtag mood video where it saw kind of Pattinson's Batman emerge from these shadows, quote unquote, because everything's colored in red. And we got to look at his chest, armor and insignia, his cowl, not the ears. We got hints of a cape, a collar, and some other details we're going to talk about. I thought it was kind of good at setting the mood for this Batman movie. I think the score by Michael Giacchino, Oscar-winning composer.
Best known for his work on the amazing TV show Lost.
There you go. There's BD's free Lost plug right there.
Best show ever.
It really did help to kind of give us an idea of what this new Batman theme music might sound like. Mm-hmm. It kind of set the tone for, it reminded me of, while being very superhero-y, also kind of a very 40s noirish detective story kind of sound to it, which is what is kind of shaping this version of the Batman, the whole world's greatest detective, kind of old film noir, Chinatown kind of thing. And it made me really excited for this. The theme is already a hit in my head. Mm-hmm. Like, I've been kind of humming it to myself. I feel like a lot of other people who saw this are feeling the same kind of way. But it is the internet, and this is DC, and this is a costume reveal, so it can't all be love.
And immediately everyone compared it to Daredevil.
Yeah.
Immediately.
I said I liked it, and I got called a shill. So that's just...
I think red was an interesting choice. I mean, even if you just look at, if you're watching the video, you can see on the screens, we've got a bit of like a blue overlay here. You know, it's still in the shadows. Whenever, like, that was perfectly fine. They could have totally sidestepped their Daredevil comparison with that.
But nobody's thinking about Daredevil. Daredevil's gone.
They're only thinking
if everybody cared this much about Daredevil when Daredevil was here, we'd still have Daredevil.
R.I.P. Yeah. I think the red was fine. I think the only comparison is the fact that it was red lighting and you can't see his eyes.
No.
If otherwise, every freaking superhero who has a mask that goes over their face, you better be comparing it to Daredevil if it's in a red light, because they're all the same.
Well, let's just be honest, because we didn't see the ears. We just kind of saw the head and the leather mask, and that's what's really throwing people, I think. Because if you don't see the ears, it really is kind of hard to distinguish a Batman from a Daredevil.
I'll tell you what my favorite part about this cowl, though, is because I'm not totally sold on the leather aspect. I get the potential story implications of why it's leather and it looks stitchy and whatever. I like that you can see so much of that jawline and that chin. Some of my least favorite cowls, mainly the Christian Bale one, is the one where it looks like he's got kind of a bubble, like a bubble head around his thing, and like it covers way too much of his actual face. This, like the Ben Affleck one, which is my second favorite, it's not my favorite. My first favorite is the Michael Keaton one, but I like that a lot.
You don't like the Kane mask that just puts your mouth out there.
Yeah, no, I
you
don't.
Like the whole jaw. I mean, Robert Pattinson's got a lot of jaw.
Why would you hide that jaw?
A lot of jaw.
Great jaw.
Yeah, science says
you
it's
could break
the best jaw in
glass
the world
with that thing.
I mean, literally, science just said it's the best jaw in the world. So, but I like it because I like that it's a mix. I feel like it's a mix of kind of the old style of Batman, not just the Adam West, which people have compared it to, but like the old 40s comic. Mm-hmm. If you've ever read like really classic Batman stuff, which is a hard read because it's a very different Batman, it kind of looks like this, but I like the modern kind of Arkham influence with the kind of almost armor-esque.
Yeah, I really love
pads.
The chest piece part of it where it's a bit angular and, it looks like actual armor, but like
It looks like Arkham.
And
it
what
does.
It looks like this looks like a combination of the top. From top, you get the Adam West Batman, and around the collar, you get Gotham by Gaslight, like especially with the tall collar.
I hate that collar.
And then, well, I think that's my least favorite part, but I want to see more before I condemn it. And then the suit itself, like the armored, kind of broken up in armor plates, is Arkham style. And but it might change when we see it in color. It might change when you see it head to toe. So get outside and film Matt Reeves so that the snipers in London can get those paparazzi shots and we can see it.
Do you think this is the only bat suit we'll see?
I don't.
In this movie, probably not,
Yeah.
but it'll probably be the main one.
I mean, that's always a Warner Brother merchandising question more so than anything else. What I like about this is I like if this is an early Batman creator. This looks like an early concept for a suit. And it also looks like rather, in a weird way, it looks like more kind of dangerous and creepy than a lot of the other Batmans. Like, if you saw this guy standing in an alleyway, like,
He's not wearing
that
hockey
mask,
pads.
yeah, like, it looks like he's a scarier dude who would be creeping around a crime scene and kind of hanging out and doing that.
Do you think it says anything about the time period when this movie's going to be set?
I think it's going to be kind of the loose thing they do a lot of times with Batman, which is in an indefinite time period. Like Batman the animated series, like, is it modern times? Is it the 1930s? It's kind of a mix of both.
The only thing that you might be able to, if this is in fact a gun on his chest plate, like that looks kind of like a more modern, like,
Pistol.
Pistol, like the part that whatever you'd call that, I don't know gun terms.
Holster.
The part that goes in your hand. Like this is where the clip goes in. I think that looks like the base of a modern gun, a more modern. But then again, like I don't know any pistols that become as thick as this one apparently does. Because the big theory online is that this is a gun that he's kind of cut in half and put into his chest plate. And then other people are like, oh, what if that's the gun that killed his parents? Maybe. That's a lot. That's dark. And how would he get it? Because we saw what happened in Joker. I'm just kidding. They're not connected.
It's not too terribly dark. I mean, there was, Kevin Smith wrote the 2-page story in Detective 1000 that had Batman melting down Joe Chill's gun and putting it as an armor piece underneath the bat insignia. So,
I mean,
what if it's just his grappling gun? What if it folds together into one?
It would at least make it relevant if we have to watch another Wayne murder scene again to actually.
It's an interesting play on that for sure.
I don't think that'll be in the movie.
I hope not.
I mean, I don't want to focus. I want to focus on Batman just kind of finding his way as a detective. I don't need to go back. We all know why he came to that point. But like I said, I think I like the creep factor. The leather mask is kind of like a weird S&M turn that, like I said, it looks like this guy could be slightly disturbed more so than just a hero. This isn't like
saying he might be Christian Grey.
Something like that.
You saying he might have a playroom?
How heavy do you?
He's
think
also
that costume
confident.
is?
I mean, he's got to be the most confident Batman because going out there in leather is you're not really protecting your
Really
head. That was like
seals
a big
in
part.
the flavor.
Chris Nolan spent like a whole act of a movie explaining to us how he was going to protect Batman's head.
Right. But how heavy do you think that costume is for Pattinson to wear?
Probably not that heavy.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. These costume designers have so many.
But if that cape is leather, I mean, that's going to be weight.
I'm going to look it up.
Even by itself. But I remember like Ben Affleck saying that it felt like it was another, 20, 30 pounds on him just, before he even put the cape on. So anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, it depends on how. I have to see the full costume because
Yeah.
it looks like it's bulky, but it also looks like it could use a lot of plating tricks to kind of stitch together different plates over him, in which case that might not be as heavy.
It's so funny because
it could be like football pads almost.
So the people who made this previously worked on Solo, Rogue One, John Carter, all the Star Wars movies recently. I don't know. None of those.
I think it's
the costumes.
Oh, the costumes.
Yeah. So
it's interesting because like we have been given already so much, but there's so many facets about the Batman costume that like, is he going to wear gloves or is he going to have like the sharp things that come out of his forearm and
can he take it off to pee?
Is he going to have a belt?
The belt, the underwear.
Yeah, you
like
think he'll have a utility belt?
I hope so.
What are kind of his boots like? Are they also leather? Or are they armored? Like all that stuff.
I hope it's bright yellow.
It's very specific
just
what
bright
this
yellow.
video test showed.
Gray and black.
You think gray?
I've seen various colorings of this.
I think
fan
this
colorings
is black.
and, like,
I think this little whatever we think is a gun is black.
The
And
chest
therefore,
insignia. You gotta remember radio video guy.
But it looks like it's a darker color than the rest of that when you brighten it. So I think it must be, at least if it's not just a different material that takes the light differently, I think it might be the chest insignia, the bat logo is black, and then the rest of it might be some sort of gray.
All right.
So many questions.
That's a good guess. Nobody's leaning on some kind of blue in there.
I don't think so. I don't think they're going to go blue.
All right. There you have it.
Do you think they're going to go blue?
The experts
I don't know.
have spoken.
I don't know. You could have the cape be blue. I don't know what. I don't know.
It's true.
Maybe it's all red. Maybe that wasn't even a red light. It was a white light, just reflecting off of a bright red suit. They actually borrowed.
Batman's coming to Daredevil season 4.
Yeah, they tore up Netflix was like, we don't need this anymore. Y'all want to borrow it?
No.
And they were like, well, let's make a few changes.
Like I said, if everybody cared this much about Daredevil, when we had Daredevil, we'd still have Daredevil.
I don't think we would.
Yeah, we might.
Daredevil did it to itself.
No,
Jeff Loeb did it to him.
All right. Well,
All right. Well, back to the Batman here. You guys have any closing remarks? Because I got a regular show to get to.
I'm really excited to now see the set photos to see what
Jim's officially excited.
I want to see what this whole thing
It only
looks
took
like
an
to see if I
awesome
can get
costume
really
reveal
excited.
Video, but we got you.
Mike, so is this the most anticipated
jaw
movie of
works.
2021? Because I feel like for me at least,
2021 is a loaded year.
2021 is a big year. For me, the top two.
You're more excited than this?
Especially if Sam Raimi is directing Doctor Strange 2, is either this or Doctor Strange 2.
Not Matrix 4.
Oh,
Yeah,
Or
there's
John
John
Wick
Wick
4.
4. I mean,
it's not John Wick 4.
It's stupid to talk about most anticipated 2021. The real question is how much.
But hold on, if you
much
could
money are
watch
you
one
gonna save
tomorrow, which one would you watch? If you could watch one right now, a finished movie, which
Batman or Matrix?
one? Any of the
news.
21.
The news is what I would watch, just to make sure like I'm gonna have time and space and not a dystopia to go see movies.
2021, we're good. We got a lot of movies going. We got to get through.
We just got to get to 2020.
Hey guys, keep clicking on Comicbook.com all year long so we can keep working in 2021 for all these movies.
Support us in 2020.
There's just not much happening.
We got you in 2021. All right.
Yeah.
Including the Batman. So. Yeah, I mean, in all seriousness, no. I expect we're going to start to see a lot more as this begins to kind of get outside. And
do you think they'll do this for the villains?
I hope so.
I hope so.
I like the theme of this, and I hope they continue it. And I hope it is a theme. Like I hope we get different colors,
different songs,
could very well get Catwoman
tracks,
today.
and get Catwoman's theme, and get. Like,
I just hope he doesn't keep dropping them at freaking 6 o'clock at night.
I was driving
please don't
home.
do
I
that.
was so
People
mad.
are in traffic nowadays. Think of our families.
I know you guys are just chilling on the West Coast, like, we just had lunch, bro. My avocado's
gosh.
digesting. Like, here we go. but
West Coast is different.
yeah, but let's try to get these more timely. But no, I
Think
wanna
of
see
the
one-
kids.
I want to see one for Zoe Kravitz, Catwoman, even Paul Dano's Riddler, definitely Colin Farrell's Penguin.
You think we get like a green Riddler with a top hat?
That'd be that'd be so great.
Sing to me, Matt Reeves. And
I mean,
Michael
like, he
Giacchino.
nailed a good theme with this. Even if it unintentionally, if this was just a one and done just to get the suit out there, like, the way they put it together is an interesting theme.
Best new song of 2020.
Yeah, you could keep doing for other videos. So I say run with it as just a teaser campaign. It'd be better than Birds of Prey.
Oh gosh!
We'd actually get to meet the characters.
Did the Batman
Wouldn't that be
already
nice?
sell more tickets than Birds of Prey?
Stop
Yes,
it. Yes, when
it
they
did.
called it the
Oh
Batman.
my gosh!
But,
That's a whole different.
R.I.P. Birds of
I
Prey.
don't understand what happened there.
That'll do it for this segment when we're talking about the Batman. Thank you guys for checking in. Now we're going to throw you over to our regular Comic Book Nation episode that we recorded with me, Matt Aguilar, Connor Casey, and Spencer Perry. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that.
Special guest.
Welcome to Season 2, Episode 6 of Comic Book Nation, the official podcast of Comicbook.com. I am your host, Kofi Outlaw, and with me today, I have my co-host, Matthew Aguilar, over there.
What up?
And we have Mr. Connor Casey, wrestling reporter extraordinaire, back on the show.
It's because it's time for some wrestling, Kofi.
It is time for wrestling today. And to help us out with that, you haven't met him yet, but he's one of our fine poaches from another site. Somebody I've known for many, many years who has joined the comic book team recently. Mr. Spencer Perry is with us.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing all right. How you doing, Spence?
Doing not too bad, not too bad.
So Spencer's here because today we need some expertise on this Sonic the Hedgehog movie, which is hitting theaters. which he bravely went out and checked out for us. So he's going to let you know what's going on with this Sonic movie after all the redesigns and everything we've been arguing about Sonic, which has been a heated topic, strangely, on this podcast. We're going to find out if the actual Sonic movie is any good. So Spencer's going to help us out with that. We are also going to talk about some new reveals and or rumor leaks from Marvel's Avengers video game, which is in a state of controversy already from being delayed to kind of in the pressures to deliver another Spider-Man. So we're going to talk about what we've learned recently about that. We have some fun news about two actors who are returning to major franchises from our 90s childhoods. And we're going to talk about that and wax nostalgic. And we have the late-breaking rumor right before we came in here of another Spider-Man spin-off movie that is supposedly in development. So we're going to talk about how valid that rumor is and how much we wanted it to be true or not. So we'll get into all of that. Plus, you see Connor's here, so that means it must be time for some wrestling. So we are going to give you guys a preview of NXT's TakeOver Portland, which is going down this weekend. We've done WWE, obviously. We broke into some AEW, and now we're getting to NXT. So for all you wrestling fans of the podcast, be sure to stick around for that. But let's start right at the top with our news segment today and talk about something that Matt was kind of getting together for us right before we walked in here.
Yeah.
There's rumors that we're going to get another Spider-Man spin-off movie. So, for those keeping count, we have, on the Sony side of things, we've had Venom. We have Venom 2 coming this year. We also have Morbius coming this year. And in the last episode, we were just talking about a Sony Marvel movie that was rumored for 2021 that we did not know about. But additional rumors have pointed to a Madam Web movie, a Kraven the Hunter movie probably coming. But today, Matt, who do we got on the docket for possible movie? It's Cardiac. I'm just kidding. It's
Oh
not
my
Cardiac.
God, man, I wish it was. The one true Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew. I am very excited. Like, Cardiac, I would lose my mind, but like, I'm almost losing my mind with this. They're very close.
So take people through. What is the rumor since, like, I've barely read any of this because we were
Okay.
trying to crank out stuff before we walked in here.
So weirdly to this point, the only thing that has been confirmed on Sony's side is a Spider-Women animated movie that is supposed to spin off of Spider-Verse. So that is the only thing Sony has said.
From Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse.
From Spider-Verse. This rumor, or actually report, evidently sources are saying that one, it would be a Spider-Woman Jessica Drew solo live action movie that would be a la Venom, so kind of not necessarily part of the MCU, but it could be kind of over here, and that a director is already being eyed in Michelle McLaren, and that a lead actor is already being talked to about the role, which would be Alicia Vikander of Tomb Raider fame, which I also heart. So like, there's a lot of ifs in this, but like the thing is, they already have like, if you go and check out the article, there's already like an origin story, so to speak. There's a lot of descriptions of early ideas. Like, there's a lot of stuff here that kind of makes it seem more than just, hey, here's a thing that could happen, but none of it's been confirmed. So like, I'm still kind of on pins and needles of like, I want this to be real because I've wanted that. And also I wanted this to be real because for the longest time, Spider-Woman is one of those characters that we honestly didn't know whether it fell on the Sony side of the fence or the Marvel side of the fence, because
this was a big deal, like right after Captain Marvel.
Yeah, because like Jessica Drew is her best friend in the books and she's now really closely tied to her, but the character also didn't really appear in a Spider-Man book first, so that's where the gray area comes in. We think maybe they can even share her. So it's weird because Sony really still only has rights to Spider-Man characters that have like spawned directly from there. So there's a lot of questions with this, but I am stoked if it's true.
Why Jessica Drew? Tell us, like, why would this particular...
So Jessica Drew, one, has a really interesting backstory. Like now it would depend if Sony does this without kind of Marvel's, like MCU tie blessing type of thing, where it's kind of like Venom and kind of kept separate, then we won't get some of the S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff, because Jessica Drew has S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff in her background tied to like experiments and things like that. So that's why that organization has shown up a lot through her life. She has ties to Spider-Man, but again, she's not really a Spider-Man character. Jessica Drew is just fun. Jessica Drew is like, if you like a lighthearted Jessica Jones, Jessica Drew is like a detective in the comics and kind of runs her own agency as well as being an Avenger, but she also doesn't have the budget that comes with Captain America and like all these people that have them. So you get like this kind of weird mix of the crazy eccentric, I have a best friend who can sail to the cosmos, and the normal stuff of like, she had a baby in the books. She was like running around with a reporter trying to start her own business. Like it's a lot of that stuff that you have. So it's a perfect mix for a movie. It would be a great fit for a movie. And she's really funny and like down to earth and sarcastic. So there's a lot of cool stuff here. And her powers are interesting because, again, they are dealt from an irradiated spider like Spidey, but they're not like, yeah, she can wall crawl, but she can do venom blast. She has pheromones that like she can give off and will turn people away or attract them or cause fear. Like she can do all these different things that you can play with in a movie that would be fun for the right director. So
especially in a detective story.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of stuff set up. It's just like, where do they go? And the description says like they're keeping some stuff, but it's an interesting take on it. I don't know if we want to.
No, we don't get too deep until we know this is actually.
But it's interesting. So I mean, I think she's a great fit if they can do it in a way that she's okay for the MCU. Fans will be lining up on the block to see her and Carol like unite in some kind of event movie later on. Like that will be a like demand that they meet.
So are people going to be clamoring for for Marvel to show up, or are people going to be looking around like they did with Venom and go, where the hell's Spidey?
The first movie for her will be much easier because Spider-Man is in the Sony realm. So they don't have the same like, she's also not an R-rated character. I don't think they'll have the same problems that they have with Venom because Venom is like, they were going for a very distinct, like, we're going to go edgy or whatever. We want to kind of keep them away from Spidey. Spidey won't have any problem. Like, I don't see Kevin Feige having an issue with like, oh yeah, let them cross up. Like, that's fine. And they'll have fun with it. I don't see them having the same issues with her. I also see Marvel wanting to work out some sort of deal where she can come over for a little bit and like have those fun little interactions in the next Infinity War Endgame type thing. So,
all right. Well, we'll keep an eye on that. Matt will be keeping an eye on that for sure. We're going to jump from Marvel movies over to Marvel video games and talk about Marvel's Avengers. So this game has been a mess. Like, we've been tracking this for like, has it been like a year now? Yeah, about a year now. And we got the Spider-Man game, which was like a major hit. Was that 2018, 2019?
2018.
Gosh, that's crazy.
My God, a whole year has gone by. Wow. Wow, I got to take that in for a minute. Okay, so now that I know where I am in the space-time continuum once again, so we've been waiting on this Marvel's Avengers game to be the follow-up to Spidey, but it's been hit with like a major delay this year. There's been kind of rumors of troubles under the hood about just trying to get the basic gameplay dynamics and stuff, but we're not here to talk about any of that. We're going to talk about just kind of some of the things we have seen recently, and what we've kind of gotten are some new additional details to the game. We've gotten some details about kind of the new, bigger editions, deluxe editions they'll put out. We got a Earth Mightiest edition, and basically, we got, I hate video game like techniques. The cool part is we're going to get some more deluxe editions to this. The usual pre-order bonuses. We've gotten some new costumes that look pretty cool.
Those Obsidian ones look dope.
Yeah, the Obsidian costumes that look pretty dope. And there's been some kind of more additional rumors and possible leaks about, there have been kind of achievement leaks that have shown up on the internet that suggest at a possible big villain reveal for this game, in the fact that it could be the Kree. We've gotten more evidence that MODOK is going to be in this game. And so there are kind of these details now floating around about Marvel's Avengers. And it's all good to keep this kind of game alive in the minds of players and give them something hyped to kind of look forward to. But I don't know if it's enough to like really make me kind of jump back in the anticipation train for this game that seems to have a hell of a lot of problems going on with it.
Yeah, it's
you've gotten to play it, right, Matt?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
this guy knows.
It sucks because like every game release, right? The achievements always leak. Couple weeks before achievements, just because of the nature of like they have to pass through a lot of hands. They got to go up on a site or whatever, right? They always leak. But it's like a week 2 weeks. And honestly, people at that point who were like looking forward to playing the game typically don't look at them. Like they don't care. So for it to happen though, because originally the game was supposed to come out in May.
Yeah.
So now that it's been pushed back to September, like May still would have been kind of far out, but now that it's like September, it's so far for like this kind of like story content. But like MODOK makes sense, right? Because of AIM. And we already knew AIM was going to be a big part of the thing. Miss Marvel's a big part, and we think it's Kree technology. So like having them be a part, like so far it's like stuff like that would kind of make sense. There hasn't been like a giant thing, so I'm hoping that doesn't happen because we got a lot of time to go. But the game played really well. This is a weird thing of like, I feel like the presentation of their marketing has been very lackluster. Like they just haven't rolled this out in the way that you would have hoped because the game plays fine. It's fun. And Miss Marvel parts they got to try out.
Didn't you say that about WWE 2K19?
Hey, I still stand by my review.
You are on record.
I still stand by my review. Okay, you can read all my 1,000 words on that.
So just with a
I
grain of
have
salt.
not forgiven you for that, good sir.
Hey, I stand by it. If I wrote it, I stand by it. But like the thing is with this, it's fun. Like the cinematic stuff that they shown at Comic-Con, it's that. I mean, that's what I played. That is fun. They still need to iron out some things. Like there's still some frame rate stuff and whatever. But that's stuff that typically gets ironed out. The vitriol for this game seems to be tied to the look.
The look has
been
it's been a losing battle for the look since that first trailer.
Yeah.
It's like, why doesn't he look like Hemsworth? Why doesn't he look like Banner from the movies? Like everyone's immediately comparing to that and they're going, this is a
and the general costumes, right?
Yeah.
People have not been thrilled. And like I don't like the anniversary outfits at all. Like the ones that they're terrible. The Obsidian ones look cool.
You tell us how you really
Well, I
feel.
mean, I just like they're not great, but the Obsidian ones look cool. But I think it's all tied to like if you look at reactions every time new Avengers news comes out, it's always about the looks. It's hardly ever about gameplay or about story. It's about the looks. Crystal Dynamics has proven to be a great developer in the past. The Tomb Raider series is fantastic. Their games before that were fantastic. I will still trust in them to get the ship righted because they have a high pedigree. Insomniac knocked it out of the park with Spider-Man. Did not have as much of this, but they still had issues when they first rolled that out because I remember writing those stories of like reactions. So
See, I think this delay could benefit them because if this game bombs, then they can just turn around and go, wait, no, Insomniac Spider-Man 2 is coming.
Yeah.
Here's a preview trailer. Forget about this. Like the further out they push it, the closer they can get to that next game that people are going to like.
Hoping this is not the new Anthem.
Wow. Spencer, you got anything to weigh in on this Marvel's Avengers game?
Yeah, I think Matt's right. They're sort of marketing it. I mean, I'm not developing it, so maybe I don't know, but I think they're kind of marketing it wrong. What people want from a game like this is the characters, and perhaps they have an agreement with Marvel that they can only show off those core Avengers and Miss Marvel. But if I was them, the same way that with the PS4 Spider-Man, every new trailer, I would be revealing a new character that is going to be in this game. And that's how you're going to hook people, is by just a deluge of characters that they know and love and being like, look how many people you can play as in this game.
Yeah. I mean, like at this point, I feel like we should have seen Captain Marvel. Like we already know that feel like Captain Marvel's a playable character. They've already hinted as such. And, like we know there are going to be other they've even said in interviews, like, we're going to have other characters. Tease us with some of those. Give us some new locations. We haven't seen a new location since the initial trailer. So like, let's get some actual powers like in combo because they're talking about teamwork. We still haven't seen the co-op, like the multiplayer online where you're going to be able to do your own custom costumes of like all the skins you can unlock. We haven't even seen currency. Like currency showed up the first time in this thing. They haven't explained any of it. So there's just all these like, we need information. We need context. And then maybe some people can get over it doesn't look like I wanted to. Like,
I mean, it's just like weird that this isn't generating a bigger buzz. Like I feel like this is nowhere on my radar for 2020, or it's very muted. Or it's just like when I keep checking in to say what the hell is happening with this Avengers game. So
And the super casual fans, like, does this play like an Arkham game? Does this play like how Spidey played? Is this a Jedi Fallen Order type Metroidvania thing? Like, how does
this is a mix between Arkham and Spidey. It's not. It's a very like linear, like Spider-Man kind of were in the story parts where you were moving through the buildings and doing all that stuff in Spider-Man. It's that kind of thing. It's a very structured, like you're moving to the next area. It's very cinematic.
See, they got to get that further across because I don't get that.
No one's seen
nobody gets
past
anything.
The
I don't think
toil.
anybody understands anything about this game. Is it like all of you playing together in a co-op, or you're controlling multiple characters? Like
You're
all
playing
those basic
single player.
questions. Oh, I know. I know the
via
answers.
story, yeah.
I'm just saying, pretending as a casual gamer, I feel like these are the questions that people still keep asking whenever they get a wind of like what this game is going to be.
Absolutely.
What makes it Avengers-y, like all that stuff.
Yeah,
so,
agreed.
Yeah, interesting marketing campaign there. But all right, that's Marvel's Avengers. You can go to our wonderful Comicbook.com gaming site and see a whole lot more of that content about every little thing that's going on with this game right now. We're going to move on to two stories we're going to lump together about two big, iconic 90s or late 80s, 90s franchise stars coming back for the modern era. And I think they're both Disney, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so as only Disney can make happen. We got confirmation today that Emilio Estevez is making the comeback for that Mighty Ducks reboot series on Disney+. And we've recently gotten the confirmation that Rick Moranis is definitely coming back for the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids reboot also on Disney+. Yeah. And yeah, Disney's got that money. They got that bring you out of retirement money. I just thought I was going to sit down and chill for the rest of my days. I'm Rick Moranis. I'm Emilio Estevez. I put in my time in Hollywood. I came, I saw, I got the box office numbers. I met the honeys and went to the parties. But now, just trying to chill. But here comes Disney.
Meet the honeys.
I cannot see Rick Moranis saying that.
Well, that's why it's so great. You don't think he's a player.
Oh, jeez.
You think that Ghostbusters?
Hey, he started 3 movies with Honey in the title.
Fair enough. That's fair.
Yeah. Not that much of a stretch right there. But, so we're getting these new series. I mean, we're getting the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Is that a new movie? That's a movie, right? Correct.
That is
It's a Disney Plus movie.
Yeah, it's a movie, but the Mighty Ducks is a series. Okay.
Yeah.
Just to keep it all straight, this Disney Plus stuff is coming at me fast. So they're both coming back. And yeah, that's great. So we got new details on both projects. Basically, the rumor for the Mighty Ducks series is kind of as rumored. It's about a mom, Lauren Graham from Gilmore Girls, who has a son who gets kind of kicked out of a hockey team for some kind of challenge or something that's up with him. And so she kind of forms his own team and kind of gets coach back, Emilio Estevez. And he's going to lead a new team of Mighty Ducks that kind of focuses on whatever the problem was that got him off of this first hockey team will become the strength that makes these oddball characters come together as a great hockey team.
I do like that they're actually making the antagonist the old Mighty Ducks team. Like,
I didn't even read that part.
Mighty Ducks has become, like, the Mighty Ducks team has become, like, this giant conglomerate, very successful thing because of all the stuff they did. And so now the kid gets kicked off and now they're going to do like a ragtag thing. So it's like bringing the originator back, you know, it'd be like, I guess, I don't know, like if
the Ghostbusters, but evil,
you know, like, yeah, whatever. Right. Just bringing the original person back, but it's the old against the thing he created. Like, it's kind of interesting. It's very meta. It's kind of interesting.
All right. That's good. You want to gush over this Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? Because you know this Disney stuff way better than us.
I'm not gushing, but so did you read the synopsis?
No, barely.
Oh my God. Okay, this is dark. Like, this is crazy dark for Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Okay, so the whole premise is that Rick Moranis' character was like experimenting and tinkering in his attic because evidently his wife got sick with cancer. So he was trying to use the tech to shrink the cancer, and he ran out of time. So she died. So then ever since, he's been like in his attic experimenting, and he keeps going into the world and getting his family into like these things, and like it's caused this giant rift between them all. And now like there's all this family drama. And so then evidently it starts out with like him being trapped as a small thing, and then he gets the kids and he's working with them, and like it heals the family. But like all this stuff is like, it's like a really dark premise, like very weighty for like, maybe dark is the wrong word, but weighty, like kind of heavy for what I thought would be like a popcorn flick. Like, yeah.
It's not dark and gritty Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but it is, you're right, it is heavy Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yes.
I'll never shrink again.
Like, far heavier.
I mean, that is, now that I've just sat here and actually done my homework for the show and read the premise, I mean, it's dark, but it's also very kind of, it's weirdly powerful in the sense that this is Rick Moranis' real life. Like, the reason why he retired from acting like 23 years ago was because his wife died and he had to raise his kids. And
Which is, I wonder if that's how, they got him back, right?
in, yeah. I mean, it's kind of it's weirdly similar to the Tom Welling thing we just saw in the Smallville cameo in Crisis on Infinite Earths, where basically they got him to come back by creating this kind of meta narrative that mirrors his real life experience of playing Clark Kent. And so he got to do a scene that basically says, I'm not Clark Kent, or I'm not Superman anymore, and I'm good with that. Like,
I hadn't thought about that. That's a great point.
And I'm doing great. And that's the whole kind of subtext in that scene. And he just walks off saying, oh, all this crisis stuff is happening. It's like the big joke. Like, oh, whatever. I'm going back to my life. Like, let all this crisis stuff, like, play out. And that was kind of like how they... And he said, as we pointed out, that was the one scene that they could write to get him back, which is a chance to kind of do this weird meta thing to put to bed all the lingering stuff that he had with the Superman role. And it feels like this is what kind of Rick Moranis is doing. He's kind of working out
his Latin
like
twin.
We can't afford him. Go get his non-union Mexican equivalent, Rick Morales. Like,
Dios mío, I shrunk the kids.
Senora Burns. But seriously though, this is like him kind of working out his whole thing with Hollywood and acting and this whole kind of real life that he lived through. So. I mean, this has kind of weirdly made me much more interested in this Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Like it looks really interesting. It was just like I read it and I was expecting very like popcorn, like, oh, everybody's back. And I was like, oh Lord, like that took me off guard. So yeah.
Yeah. So
it's really surprising that this is just straight to Disney Plus though, because the fact that they could get him would make this an event movie for theaters. But on the same coin, giving it that sort of gravitas of like he's back, Rick Moranis is back and he's acting, and you can only see it on Disney Plus. That's what kind of makes it powerful just for their stream.
Yeah, I mean, Bob Iger's not messing around. He's like, screw movie theaters, come
nice
here.
Feather in the cap. Yeah,
he's like, we got a Rick Moranis and an Emilio Estevez, which I've been going on a whole Men at Work rant all day about how the times were better when Men at Work was here to make us all feel safe and good, but yeah, so this is good. And even the Mighty Ducks thing is kind of weirdly meta and spot on because the Mighty Ducks, obviously, after that film franchise, like, that brand did blow up huge and become, like, a whole thing, which is kind of ironic because it started about this misfit hockey team.
Yeah.
I like it. I like what Disney's doing here. Bob Iger, you're a shrewd bastard. But
are they going to get cameos? I want cameos.
You don't want all the cameos.
I don't want Goldberg cameo.
You don't want a Goldberg cameo.
I don't want that.
Although that would be...
I want Joshua Jackson,
though.
Talk
about the power of Disney. If they go get that Goldberg kid, clean him up, and have him appear at the end.
Keenan?
Movie,
man, there's a couple people I want to show up.
I was going to say, he's in one of them.
Yeah, he's in the second one?
Sequel.
Yeah, he's in the one, the USA or whatever.
But, yeah, I mean, it's just good. I mean, I'm now
in.
I want to see these, so I guess Disney Plus, you still got my subscription for now. All right, that'll do it for that. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to get into our deep dive section where Spencer is going to tell us if Sonic the Hedgehog will scar our souls or not, and Connor and Matt are going to tell us about NXT's TakeOver Portland. And Spencer, you can get on that too. I don't know how much you know about wrestling, but we're going to find out.
Not a thing.
Okay, there you go. You're making whole of Alabama's laughing at you right now. Come on, Spencer.
It's fine. I don't live there anymore.
Oh, well, this is all going swimmingly. So let's take a break. All right, so we're back from break. And as I said, Spencer, who is no longer in Alabama, in location unknown, is going to take us through the Sonic the Hedgehog movie and give us a quick, you know what, it doesn't matter. You could give us spoilers. I'm going to tell you right now, you're free to talk whatever you want. Because I don't think anybody's on the edge of their seat right now.
Spoilers coming, though.
About Sonic
We're
going
to get that one fan.
So full spoilers about Sonic the Hedgehog coming if Spencer so decides. All right, Spencer, is this movie the disaster that we've all, except Matt, been worried that it's going to be?
No, not at all. I'll admit, when I went in, I fully expected it to be terrible. And it's actually pretty charming, specifically because of Ben Schwartz as Sonic. Like, it is quintessentially just a children's movie. Like, if you don't have a kid, or if you're not in the headspace to put up with the shenanigans that come with a kid's movie, it's not going to be for you. But I found it pretty enjoyable and entertaining, even if there's obviously certain moments where if Sonic's not on screen, it just doesn't work. And honestly, kudos to them for delaying the movie and redesigning Sonic, because if they didn't, the movie would not work as well as it does.
So you're gonna go see it?
Am I? No.
You can take your kids to see it?
No, neither one of my kids. My daughter is like 4 and does not care about any of this. And my son is 18 months and would be trying to do his best Sonic act around the theater.
Yeah, there it
is. So, no, I'll catch it when it comes on TV next year.
Do we get Tails or any of the other crew? Tease? Knuckles? Do we get Knuckles?
Well, since this is full spoilers, I'll say.
This is only going to make people
very
want to see the movie more.
At the very beginning, there's sort of this masked clan that is after Sonic, and you don't like get a great look at them, but they are all very clearly echidnas. They're all red. They have the dreads. They have the knuckles, and but they're on screen for like 30 seconds, and the mid-credit scene is sort of a warp ring opens up outside of Green Hills. A set of music starts playing that your fans are very familiar with, and then a little fox walks out of it, and he says something like, he has like a little tracker, and he's like, "Oh, Sonic's here! I have to warn him." And then his 2 tails open up, and he flies away.
There you go.
How do you listen to that and not get excited? That's awesome.
That made me a little excited. That made me a little
It's 30
excited.
seconds that plays over the credits.
Doesn't
Look,
matter.
I'm not a
It's
Sonic hater.
awesome.
My parents forbid me from having 2 gaming systems when I had a Super Nintendo, so I dug up my own money and financed my own money and bought a Genesis in secret just so I could play Sonic 2 or 3. I forget which.
I was a Genesis kid. I didn't have a Super. So
and
yeah.
Yeah, and so my dad found out, and then he took it back and returned it and threw the money back at me.
Oh, what? Oh, that's
Yeah.
heartbreaking.
Yeah, no,
Oh
it
my
didn't matter.
God.
The rules were the rules in my house.
Oh.
So I only got a little
That
chunk
is
of it.
crushing.
So I had like a big obsession with Sonic, obviously.
I get
Anytime
that.
I was at somebody's house who had Sonic. So yes, I'm not a Sonic hater. I'm not made of stone, Matt. I might be dead inside, but it doesn't mean I was always made of stone.
So it's just for the record. It's just Tails and Knuckles. It's not. Well, I don't ever
I don't know
remember
anybody else. I've tapped out.
The guy who
no,
fishes.
No Shadow, no Amy.
No Amy,
Because
no
you know
Big
who
the
knows
Cat,
about that?
no Shadow.
Big Cat. Yeah,
None of
that
the
is-
original Sonic fans know about. I mean, that's all that.
This
news
is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I hope this makes money because I want Tails.
There's also another sort of mid-credits thing that teases Jim Carrey's Robotnik like turning into the Robotnik that we all know.
Okay, good. Wait, that was in the trailer. Is that scene we saw there? Is that not in the movie?
Is the bit with him with the giant mustache?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's one of the mid-credit scenes.
Oh, well, there you go.
I just need a Mean Bean Machine reference.
What about Chaos Emeralds?
No Chaos Emeralds, but there is a Chili Dogs reference.
Okay.
Very nice. Respect.
How are the visual effects, and how are the human cast?
They're fine. It's
I mean, you're talking about James Marsden. He could charm anybody. He's America's charmer.
Right. He works. Obviously, he was in the movie where he acted opposite of CG Rabbit. So like he's just the guy that they hire when they need someone to act opposite of a CG small animal. But the best part about the movie is that there's a couple of different scenes that play sort of like the PG kid-friendly versions of the Quicksilver scenes from the X-Men movies, where it's Sonic moving people around, moving really fast, doing silly things. And those bits work. They're fun to watch. And it to me, it's clear that those are the things that the director was passionate about staging and doing in the movie. And then sort of the scenes where people are just kind of talking and going back and forth are just...
Did they tack on some human emotional story to this?
Yeah.
Is it terrible?
No, it works. It's fine.
Yeah, okay.
Which is a huge achievement in the realm of these type of movies when like everyone's there for the animated character, no one cares about the human character.
Yeah.
Just make it passable. You don't have to like sell me on it. It doesn't have to be Honey I Shrunk the
All right,
Kid.
so quick lightning round on some questions. Which one's better, this or Detective Pikachu?
I would say this.
Oh, what?
I did not love Detective
The
Pikachu.
anime. Gonna be feeling it.
goodness.
And how would you rank this in like top or bottom 5 video game movies of all time?
Oh, geez.
It would have to be really bad to be in the bottom 5.
I mean, considering what else is in the top 5,
Doom is around.
It might make it to number 5. So But that's considering everything else that's in the oeuvre of video game movies.
Yeah, because you're up against like Uwe Boll.
It's no assassin.
but it's no like Wreck-It Ralph, right? Like it's not. Like,
No, not at all.
Is that considered a video game?
Though it does
Well, I'm
have
just
a
talking
great
straight
joke.
adaptations. Like, that's all I'm talking about. But it's better than Prince of Persia.
Oof.
Yeah, it's better than Rampage.
Better than
any of that
Rampage.
crap.
Better than what was I just said one.
Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed. Oh, I was joking. I hate Assassin's Creed.
I had
It's
such high hopes. They
the Animus. But
need to
anyway.
redo that.
So Sonic's not. I mean, so video game movies not dying. They're doing all right out here. All right. Once we stop trying to.
As far as video game movies go, it's probably a higher average than your regular video game. And as far as just general kids movies, totally passable.
All right.
Okay.
Well, there you have it. Bring, bring, like a Sonic ring. Yeah. That's our review of Sonic the Hedgehog. If you want, you can find Mr. Spencer Perry on Twitter at that Spencer Perry and ask him some more questions. We're not going to take any more of our time for it. We're going to move right along because now I get to have my favorite part of the show where I get to chill and throw things over to Connor and Matt so they can scream at each other about wrestling. This time in the widening universe of wrestling, we're going to NXT, which I have no idea what that means, but I'm sure they'll explain it as they introduce NXT and what's coming up with TakeOver Portland this weekend.
Well, thank you very much, Kofi. For those who don't know, NXT is the third brand of the WWE. It was once the developmental brand. It is now kind of doing its own thing. And they run their own pay-per-view events.
Yep.
So these usually run the night before a major one. WrestleMania, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble. But sometimes we get these standalone weekends. And then they get to have their own Sunday show and kind of take over the conversation. And this show was...
See what you did there, Takeover. See what you did.
There you go.
Nice.
This show was so good, we wanted to talk about it here because I think it deserves a little bit more attention.
That card,
It's
we'll
insane.
get to, it's stacked. Like, I would put this up against any other pro WWE event,
From the last year.
Yeah, easy.
Not counting other takeover shows. 'Cause
Yeah.
just about every one you go and you look, oh, this is a good pay-per-view, for a regular main roster show. For a takeover, it's nothing.
That's why we give Jim Viscardi a hard time, because he is a hater and he's always calling it a snooze fest. And it's actually one of the best wrestling programs around. I just like to say that. So, ha! And he's not here to defend himself.
He is
So,
not
ha!
here. Yes.
How about that, Jim? How about that?
Let's start here because there's only 6 matches, but let's get to the sell me the...
Also nice, by the way.
Yes, it means it's
You're not
shorter.
stuck there for 6 hours. So, yes.
Exactly. Sell me on one match. What's the one match you need to see from this?
Okay.
Sell Spencer on this. He doesn't know about wrestling.
Okay.
Yes,
so
please.
I'm selling Spencer. Okay, well then I will say Finn Balor and Johnny Gargano. Finn Balor.
that?
So Finn Balor is to me the hottest heel and I'll say NXT right now. I won't say wrestling. I will say NXT right now. He's having fun with it. The guy is clearly rejuvenated by being to just be himself on TV, and he's having fun just knocking people over the head. He has some of the coolest offensive moves. Johnny Gargano is the epitome of a babyface, so epitome of a good guy. The crowd loves him. He's energetic. It's never boring, and he can carry a lot of people, even if they suck, in a ring. So when you put two people like that together and give them some time, which I hope they will do, and with only so many matches, that's also one of the benefits, is that WWE has so many matches in their pay-per-views, even though they're like 9 hours long. Some of them only get 5 minutes, 10 minutes. NXT typically gives enough time to breathe. So you actually get to see a match between these two and see a storyline play out. These two will have a phenomenal match. Like, for it to suck, they would just both have to be have the flu.
You stole my pick because I think Gargano is at his best when he's in a match that's building off of a long-term storyline. Mm-hmm. His stuff with Ciampa, as seen behind me, that was his best stuff because there was so much that went into the match.
Yeah.
The moment he walked in, so that he could play off, this knee brace and this broken crutch. These things took part in build up to the story. I'm gonna tie them into the match itself.
Yeah.
As for my pick, since you took mine, I'll go with Undisputed Era versus the Broserweights.
Very nice.
Because this is kind of the biggest, most pleasant surprise at the start of this year, is that these two polar opposites in this stoner MMA fighter, Matt Riddle, and this hard-nosed British wrestler, Pete Dunne, when you put them together, they're actually kind of hilarious.
Yeah, it's like an odd couple scenario, but like it's like a weird WWE version of Starsky and Hutch.
They're like cat dog. Almost.
Yeah.
It's like one is super laid back and goofy. The other is very serious and straightforward.
Yeah.
But the goofy one's always tricking the normal one into doing weird stuff. Like he tricked him into getting onto the loading dock of a plane last night. So you could be like, we need to find a way to get to Portland. Hide in the back of this plane.
And then it was Triple H's plane.
Triple
Like
H's
they
plane.
play. It's really fun. It's self-aware, and they're having fun with it. So
and
it's great.
They've been in a tournament to get to this tag team title match, and they've done a spectacular job, given that they hadn't tagged before.
Yeah.
You know, the matches they had leading up to it were great. And then you got Undisputed Era, who can have a good match with anybody.
Yeah. It's money.
Like, I had to stop myself from putting 5 of their matches on Match of the Year in December. It was hard.
It was all NXT.
They were all NXT. Except that Survivor Series match. Was
Oh
pretty
yeah,
good.
that wasn't good.
But
Okay, so
we didn't mention the title matches.
Okay, 'cause yeah.
So we got to get the single stuff. The big issue I have with this card, and it's the only one really, is we've got Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair for the NXT Women's title. But we've already started building Rhea up for a match with Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania.
Yes.
I feel like they've given Bianca the shaft here.
I completely agree.
Because everything they have done with this build, you could start on Monday, the day after the show, and nothing would change.
Yeah.
They could have just kept the wheel spinning with Charlotte. All she had to do was come out and say, I'm not going to tell you who I'm challenging at WrestleMania yet. You're going to find out when I want you to find out, and let the speculation just keep bubbling. Because now it looks like, we're already focused on this. Rhea is obviously the star right now. It's a good match between the two, but Bianca, you're just kind of left on the sideline right now. And that sucks for her.
It sucks for her because she has what really sucks is the fact that they have brought Charlotte from the main roster onto NXT for several segments. And every single time, the clear shining star is Bianca.
Right.
Bianca, as over as Ripley is, Bianca is almost just as over with those crowds. So when they come out, they, knock Rhea down because they highlight her one weakness, which is on the mic. Bianca's great on the mic. Every time she opens her mouth, it's a meme or it's a GIF on social media.
She loves doing the Mean Girls. You don't even go.
Yeah, she's great and she's fun. But also, yes, I agree. I feel like Charlotte has never really been like I could have taken her out of all those segments and they would have been just as entertaining. She hasn't really brought anything to it either.
Yeah.
So I agree. I feel like you're overstepping. The only way they save it is if they let Bianca win. But they won't
I don't think
because they just gave the belt to Ripley and Ripley's the it girl, which she's awesome. I love her. But I just feel like,
they're building her up as one of the big faces of the brand. Yeah. You don't want to,
diminish
cut the knees out from under that already.
The only thing they can, so I will give a B. They can also save it if they then which they won't, because again, they're building Charlotte towards that. But if they were to switch gears and have Bianca into a thing with Charlotte and let that run, and then have Ripley go after whoever else.
Right.
That could save it because then you would have a reason for that.
Yeah,
build her up at the same time.
You could do a triple threat, which
I hate triple threat.
They tend to avoid with Mania because they want to keep the story as simple as possible. Yeah. And Becky basically had to fight her way into being a part of that triple threat last year.
Her family. Oh, that was Paige. I'm sorry.
I was still going to give it to you because I just like the reference. I just like the fighting with my family reference. I respect it.
The other thing elsewhere on the card, Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox, I think is going to kill it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say something controversial. Dakota Kai is doing the good girl turned evil heel thing better than Bayley.
One of the things I think, though, and I agree with you, I feel like Kai has been killing the heel run and has just embraced it. But I think also the benefit is that I've been a Nox fan already. And yes, part of it is that she does love the Captain Marvel. But the other part is that I feel like because of Kai's stellar handling of being a heel, Nox now has a feud, and it's brought out a fun, kind of edgier version of her character. She's kind of like this little bit of a rebel, nerdy rock star. It almost feels like the AJ, without the sensual stuff, it feels kind of that AJ Lee rebel thing. And I think that's good for her.
I also love, it's the tiniest detail, but I love that whenever Dakota's fighting her, her entrance music is just the sound of her beating her up.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm like, oh my God, that's vicious.
Yeah, it's awesome. I really feel like she's benefited the most, even though Kai's been great. She's been benefited the most from this.
Yeah.
And I feel like she's one of the. I'm very excited to see her for the rest of this year. I think she's going to kill it. So.
Running on the rest of it, Keith Lee, Dijakovic. It's a battle of two behemoths. It's going to be awesome. Keith wins.
It's going to be Keith.
Let's get to the main event, though.
Okay.
Because Ciampa Cole, there's a great story being told. Kind of a low note there at the end of last night's show. I wasn't thrilled about it. I did actually catch the highlight of it.
Okay.
I saw. I was like, that's
was boring.
That's not the best way I could have done it.
Very boring.
Here's my thing.
Yeah.
I think you got to have Ciampa win it back. Because
Yeah, I can see that.
I think we're going to get an NXT championship match at Mania that stands alone like it did at Survivor Series, where it's not Charlotte where we're bringing in a crossover from somewhere else to up the prestige of it. No, I think it's just going to be Ciampa versus somebody else, and I think it's Gargano.
Oh, that would be great.
I think we finally get part 4 out of that series because we were robbed of it a year ago.
Yeah, because he got hurt.
And the easiest way, it's so easy to do it. Ciampa wins. Johnny goes out there to congratulate him just like Ciampa did him. And then he goes, wait a second, I'm a huge jerk when I have this thing, so I'm going to kill you now. And it just restarts it all from there.
I love that.
We go back to where we should have gotten.
It also gives Gargano something to do after what I think he will lose to Balor.
I think so too.
And because you don't want to, Balor needs that heat, and he's been on a roll. So I feel like that's a great rebound for Gargano to go right back into something, a major program, and then come out. I love that.
And Ciampa, when he was at the height of his power with that title, biggest heel in wrestling.
Oh, he's a great heel. Yeah.
Evilest guy, he could come out to no music. And just terrifying. More terrifying than Kofi when he hasn't had his coffee.
To WWE discussions is amazing. It's a whole thing. We should be a
I feel
camera.
like listening
just
to
on
you guys, I feel like Janelle must feel like half the time listening to us.
I can see that. I very much see that.
It's a great show. We're going to be covering it live.
Yep.
You're going to be doing a lot of the live coverage. I'll be there to help you.
We'll be live tweeting, so I apologize in advance because I will be putting up a lot of gifts, and I will be saying a lot of Keith Lee. I'm buying my first Keith Lee shirt, by the way.
Fantastic. Is it the Legion?
Yeah, because it's awesome. That's a great shirt.
That's a bad.
And then I'm excited for whatever Tegan Knox, whatever Captain Marvel look, because she was rocking Captain Marvel sneakers at this NXT. That was dope. That was so good. Anyway, all right. You should watch NXT. If you pick one wrestling program of WWE,
That's the best?
That's the best.
that's the best, hands down.
What
Wednesday
about
nights.
the other one that's all elite? It's supposed to be only elites.
It is all elite, and it doesn't have a show until the 29th, which I'll be back for that too.
All right.
Booyah.
So there you have it. NXT TakeOver Portland going down this weekend. Comicbook.com. Wrestling or WWE we still are?
Yeah.
Oh, man, we got to rebrand that. Or is it all just WWE?
For now.
For now. But comicbook.com, WWE. Stay tuned if you're a wrestling fan because it's going down this weekend on the NXT front. That'll do it for this episode of Comic Book Nation. I want to thank everybody for listening and or viewing the show today. We want to thank Spencer for coming on and putting our fears of Sonic the Hedgehog to rest. If you are just now getting into Comic Book Nation, we put up new episodes every Wednesday and Friday on comicbook.com, where you can subscribe to our RSS feed and get regular updates about the show or just listen in on the site. If you want to listen in to on your favorite kind of podcast platforms, we are on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, Google Podcasts, Google Playlist, iHeartRadio, or you can view any episode on the comicbook.com YouTube page. If you want to continue the discussion about anything we've been talking about or you have new insights to offer, please do so. Hit us up at the hashtag comicbooknation, or you can reach me at Kofi Outlaw.
Oh, you can find me at Matt Aguilar CB.
At Connor Casey _CB.
And as you can see, you can find Spencer at that Spencer Perry. Don't get confused with the other ones. It's that.
It's actually
that
the
one.
Spencer Perry on Twitter.
Oh, what's that?
It's actually the Spencer Perry on Twitter.
Oh,
It's
well,
actually
we have
this
your-
Spencer Perry on Twitter.
Well, we have your name
Instagram?
wrong above you, but so not
That's
that Spencer
fine.
Perry. It's the Spencer Perry.
Ain't that one. It's
All
this
right.
one.
If you love the show, go on iTunes, leave us a 5-star review because we're coming up to another junction where we're going to be reading more 5-star reviews
Yay.
from iTunes on the show. And if we read yours, we send you some comicbook.com swag, one of these awesome T-shirts.
40
that I'm
of them.
always out here trying to promote. So be sure to leave those 5-star reviews on iTunes, especially for season 2. We got to get some season 2 good reviews.
You get
going.
4 shirts. Per.
Don't start making these promises.
You get 9 shirts,
Yeah,
a
that
hat,
is not a real thing.
and a plantain.
Yeah, that's not a real
Jim's gonna be mad.
Jim is going to come in here and freak out. That is not a real thing.
4 shirts?
Well, today's awkward ending has been provided by Matt, so we thank him for that. This has been Comic Book Nation, and we're going to get out of here. See you guys later. Peace.
This.
Peace.